Okay. I hate plumbing. Well, I hate when there are troubles with it, and this is fairly minor. I'm used to dealing with plumbing, but I so hate the sewer plumbing. Probably for what should be obvious reasons. Of course, when the supply side fails, that usually floods things, but at least that does not leave chunks behind. At any rate, the problem we're having here, obviously we're looking at a sink basin. This is a ranch house, full basement. This is, as far as the plumbing goes, high ground here. The vent stack is about feet from here. The main vent stack is, oh gosh, I think about 5 foot behind me. The problem we're having, well, it's not really a problem, but it could develop into one, certainly. There's a blockage, a partial blockage between this and the main sewer line. This is, your typical bathroom. It's got a tub here and a toilet, which is directly behind where I'm standing, from the sink where you're seeing here. The tub is there, which right now is stopped, and it has some water in it. That being about, from the drain, about 4 inches deep. Just cold water in there. 4 inches deep from the drain. I'm going to pull that plug, and to wit, what happens when I do that, which should not be happening. Pull the drain, and here it goes. That's air being pushed up through this drain, through the trap. And I'll commence to let that drain. Glug, 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 glug. And then what will happen is once the tub drains, it's still gassing out of that drain. And you might think, whoa, clogged vent. No. Both this sink and the tub are upstream from the toilet. The occlusion, blockage, partial blockage, is somewhere between the sink and the tub. Well, the sink tub and the toilet. Forcing water down the toilet drain, down into the flange, does not do that. This happens with the tub. And it's also, the tub is draining slower than it should. Not only that, I can hear, listening, down close to the floor here, I can hear what sounds like a burbling brook. Oh, that should not be. That should be just straight through. Shoom. That's not happening. So there's a blockage, partial blockage, between the sink tub, which are upstream from the toilet. The toilet does not. That's functioning perfectly. Flushing this toilet does not produce any disturbance in either of these traps, either the sink nor the tub. I'm sure the vent's open. I've already looked at it. And also, I've been through this before with this circuit. For some reason it blocks up. I'm not sure why that should be. There's not a lot of junk that goes down either of these drains. But nevertheless, this is what we got. It's still, the tub's still draining. This is still, air is still coming up out of it. And we don't need that. I've got a spare trap for this, just in case I punch through it, or, you know, the last time I went to do this, as soon as I grabbed the trap, it turned into aluminum foil. You know, crunch, 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 crunch. It's no good. And I have a spare trap. What I don't have is a spare wall tube. This particular drain, it goes out into the wall and then down. I don't have a spare wall tube. If it needs one, I'll just have to stop this and go and get one. You know, Mrs. Home Depot, or, you know, some Chinese equivalent. There we go. Now what's going to happen? It's sucking air. There's the tub trap doing it. The sink trap's doing it. So both of these are being denied access to the vent stack. And I'm sorry, that's what's going on. And so what I'm going to do is pull the trap and the wall tube off of this basin, and from there snake it, and hopefully dislodge whatever it is. I have a pretty good idea what it is, but dislodge whatever it is that's causing the blockage. And but before I do that, I am going to take some measurements. And I know this is not necessary. I know what needs to happen to make it work again. I'm not going to just do that. I figure it might be interesting, at the least, to actually take some pressure measurements of this as this happens. I'll segment that out and then stitch it together with this video to kind of make it all one, hopefully. Anyway, I'll be right back. Okay, got the trap and wall tube removed, and you can see there, this is the stub iron threaded pipe there, and the tailpiece from the basin, and down to here. This is a little bit bagged out, but I think that's good to go for a little bit while longer. The trap and the wall tube here, yeah, we'll be able to reuse that. Not a trouble. So basically, I'm gonna be jamming a snake in through here to remove some obstruction. But and that's easy enough. You just shove it in there. Because usually go to the new tub and then you're good to go. But I thought it might be interesting to illustrate, you know, what kind of happens when there is an obstruction of this sort, and where it is. Again, it's between the tub and sink here, a circuit, and the toilet behind me. What I've got here is a gauge, a pressure gauge. More into that once this is moved to a more convenient spot. But just to show where this gauge is connecting, it's just a length of hose from that to a rubber stopper. And what I'm going to do is plug that into this pipe like that, and I'll jam it in there and get a better seal. But that will, there's no fluid going to flow through there, but any pressure that builds up or any vacuum that builds up will register on this very sensitive gauge. And you'll be able to see what's happening, and to show that once the blockage is cleared, the difference that it makes. Just because it's, I don't know, funnier that way. So, yep. Okay. Pardon me. There's the face of the gauge. I'll set the calibration so that it is mid-scale. So any positive or negative pressure on this line here, which is connected to the outlet of this basin, the drain, and fairly well sealed off. So any positive pressure will move this needle this way, any negative pressure, a little slight vacuum, will move it that way. Ideally, this would never move. They always do. The pressures that this thing is sensitive to, this thing is very sensitive. Actually, maybe a little bit too sensitive for this demonstration, but I think it's adequate for it. Normally, this needle would be calibrated down to 0. Full scale would be 1 inch of water. That's pretty low. Just maybe enough to make your ears pop, if that. Now, you may see this waffling around a little bit. It's a bit breezy out, and there are vent stacks, and also, you know, the changes of pressure in the sewer system. Now, there is no trap. There's no water trap between this gauge and the sewer into which we're connected here. And so that it's reasonable that this would move about. And it's quite sensitive. I'm sure that this needle will peg in the positive direction when I pour some water into the tub drain. Both, as I've said, both the tub and the sink here, right here, are upstream from the toilet. Now, I'm going to flush the toilet, and just to see what happens to the pressure here in the line. Again, there's no water trap. Here's the toilet flush. Now this is a 4-point-something gallon flush. Okay, that does not surprise me. It's sucking some air through here, but it's also sucking it in through the vent. If it weren't, that would have slammed to 0, or it would have went positive. And it didn't. And so while it's filling up, won't take a moment. I've got a bucket here in the tub with about 2 gallons of water in it, and I'm going to pour that into the tub, let it drain, and see what this does while the toilet finishes filling. There we are. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and dump it's about 2 gallons of water into the tub. See what happens on this gauge. Bang. And there it goes. And negative pressure. So there's a restriction between the sink tub drains, and the toilet, which is pretty much connected right to the main sewer and vent stack. And so it's done draining, and now I'll sit there right where I had left it. There we go. And so I'm going to leave this gauge calibrated where it is. I'm going to snake that drain and hopefully remove that obstacle, and do the same measurement again and note the difference. Hopefully. See ya. Okay, I've got the drain snaked. I think it's pretty much clear. I did get a pretty fat glob of sewer hair out of it, tangled up in the snake. I think we're golden. You may notice this magnehelic gauge here waffling about. There's no water running anywhere. That's just the differences in pressure due to well, it's kind of windy today, breezy. Open up the window a sec. Might be able to hear some breeziness. Very nice day. Jeez whiz. It is in November, and it's, oh gosh, upper 60s. A little windy. Nice. And so the wind is whistling across the bed stack, or bed stacks. And yeah, again, there's no trap right now between this gauge and the sewer. So whatever pressure difference is, and of course there's always going to be movement because of what else is going on in the sewer line out in the street. So that's going to wander around. To give you an idea just how sensitive this meter is. That's what it's seeing. So as before, I'm going to dump about 2 gallons of water into the tub, where before it pinned the needle to up here, which is about ½ an inch of water measurement, manometer measurement. It's much better now. It's going to waffle about a little bit, but it's way better than it was, I'm sure. There we go. 2 gallons in. Little negative pressure. Hardly anything. Not even worth mentioning. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this basin back together. Its trap and wall tube back on, and do the same test. I'm going to, I'll put about 4 inches water in the tub here, and open its drain and see if it sucks anything out of the trap here. I'm pretty sure it won't. At these low pressures, no, it won't. Or I would say blow air through up through the trap, nor will it suck water out of the trap. That's the plan anyway. So we'll see. Okay, I think we're done. The last test. I'm sure this is going to work just fine. I've got the tub is filled. Well, from the drain end, it's about 6 inch deep water, cold water in here. And I'm going to open that plug, and I don't want to hear any gas coming up from here, and I don't want to hear it sucking in from there. I do expect this to suck some gas through the trap once it drains, the tub that is, but I don't want there's any activity right there. So here we go. Button up the sleeve. Nothing. Perfect. As I said, I pretty much knew where the blockage was. It was between the tub and sink and the main drain out of here, past the commode. Above the tub in this basin upstream. And the tub's gone down to, right now it's back to 4 inches deep at the drain. It's pulling a whirlpool. I wouldn't be surprised if it sucked the tiles off the walls. Once that thing finishes draining, I'll just let it go. But yeah, it's not a how-to or anything, just probably mostly for my own archives that I recorded this and posted. I don't think it's terribly helpful to anyone. Good Lord knows there's a lot of stuff out there. And God bless the guys. There goes. Yeah, no activity here, no noises here. That gurgled a little, that's to be expected. But just a little oddball because I have metrology and a bit of curiosity about this stuff. I knew what was going on with it, but why not expand on that a little bit? You know, if you get into a situation where it's what the hell is, why, how is this, why? Sometimes a gauge or two can help you. Lord knows it does me. But anyway, I think we're done with this. Yeah, if something goes wrong, I'll add another segment to it. But anywho, say it.